I am Angie McPherson. I am a branding photographer, marketing strategist, and hype woman for creative entrepreneurs. And I'm kicking off my weekly Instagram live series back again in 2022. And I'm going to start with a fun topic. We're going to be talking all about how to step up your branding photos in 2022. So thanks for joining. Hello. Hey, Jen. Oh, yay. So happy to see people here. So I want to know in the comments below, if you're watching live, are you doing branding photos this year? The answer should be a resounding yes. It should be a resounding yes. If you've never done them before, now is the time to do them. It's time to step it up. Like I said, I'm here to give you some tips for stepping it up this year. I just had some done the other day here in my office. I had a photographer come and take some of me here in my office because the last time I had them done professionally, I think I was bald. I think it was over the summer, literally in the midst of chemo, I was bald. And so I was like, hey, my post-chemo curls are coming back. I need some fresh branding photos. I've got to step it up for my website, my social media and everything with a new look. So I had someone come and take some photos for me this week and I can't wait to share them. And so I'm here to inspire you and to empower you to get your fresh branding photos done for 2022. So let's just do 3 quick tips to get you ready to step it up. Tip number 1 is the obvious: get it on the calendar, okay? Get it on the calendar. I always recommend people to do at least 2 branding shoots a year at minimum. Great would be 4 times a year. Once a quarter would be awesome. If you have any questions, you can click the question mark button icon at the bottom, and I'm here, I'm live, I'm happy to answer any questions. So tip number 1, get it on the calendar, okay? So think about what you've got going on. Think about if you want to do it now at the start of the year, if your headshot's old, if your website photos are old, if you're reusing the same social media branding photos, is now the best time for you to get those photos? Or is Q2 better? The season's, nicer outside where you might be. You have some things coming up. You have, you might be securing an office space, or you might be really busy in the spring and you want somebody to come along with you and take some good shots of you working with your clients. So think about when you want to get these photos done, okay? So tip number 1, get it on a calendar. Once it's on the calendar, even if you're like, I want to do this in April, pick a date, put it on the calendar, because as soon as you have it locked in, you're going to go ahead and do step number 2, which is set the intention and plan thoroughly, okay? Once it's locked in on the calendar, you're set. You're like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm getting my branding photos done. Now it's time to set the intention and plan thoroughly, which is tip number 2. So set the intention. What I mean by this is, instead of saying my headshots and branding photos are outdated, I'm going to get some new ones, I'm going to book a photographer, I'm going to meet with a friend, we're going to spend some hours in doing this. Instead of just saying, I need new branding photos, what is the intention for your branding shoot? What do you need the photos for? So think about any upcoming launches, any new services or products that you have coming up, any events that you might be hosting. Think about your marketing needs. Do you need an overhaul on your website? Is your website completely outdated with photos? Do you need to start a social media campaign for something coming up? Are you going to be featured on a bunch of podcasts this spring? Are you going to an event? So think about what is the intention for the shoot, and that will empower you to get the right photos, because it's great to have updated photos where you're looking your best and Jen says change of hair color. Yes, that's a good one too. It's easy to just say, I need new branding photos, but it feels so powerful to go into a shoot knowing, for example, I have, this launch coming up and I need new photos for my website, for ads. I'm going to be on a podcast. So the intention for this shoot is to get photos of me working at my desk, or working with a client, or working with my hands, or out, at an event. Or if you're a realtor, if you know that the spring is a busy season, I want to make sure I'm showing myself in different homes, showing myself, helping my clients, pick out their homes and their dreams and things like that. So that's just an example, depending on what your industry is, like what is a good time and a good intention for you to get those photos done. So another example, if you're in the wedding industry, you might have different types of busy seasons and you know that you want to show up in a certain way. Let's say you're a wedding planner and things are going to start to get crazy in the spring, and you want to set your intention that I want to make sure that even though things are crazy and I'm going to be working weddings every single weekend, I have photos that show me out in the field, working in my office, so I can just schedule them, put them in the calendar, and not have to wake up each week like, oh my gosh, I have a wedding on Saturday. I can't focus on social media right now. No, that's the best time to show up on social media is when you're busy, you're in the field, you're working, and then you're going and having all of these images, all of these branding photos leading up to it and just showing how, how amazing you are and how you're ready to get to work. So that's number 2. So like I said, number 1 for stepping up your branding photos in 2022, number 1, getting the dates on the calendar, dates plural, at least 2. Can you guys, if you're on this live, can you commit to at least 2 branding shoots? And this can be, hiring a photographer, of course. That's my number 1 tip, is to let a professional take on, the grunt work. But it can also be having an Instagram husband or an Instagram wife take your camera, take some photos. It can be meeting up with someone and doing a swap. Jen says she's doing 4. Let me know, just type a number in the chat. How many you plan on doing this year? I should see at least 2. At least 2. So maybe one now, maybe one in the summer, maybe one in the spring. Okay, I see. I commit to 2. Awesome. Is anybody going to do 4? Is anybody going to step it up and do 1 per quarter? I'm seeing lots of 2s. This is good. I don't see any 1s. I see lots of 2s. Can you commit to 2 branding shoots? Think about what month you want them. Do you want them in March? Do you want them in the winter? Think about when you want them. And then, like I said, set your intention for each shoot. And your intention for each shoot might be different. Your intention for, January shoot might be different for the summer shoot. So a couple years ago, I did a branding shoot in the summertime. And I knew that I wanted to relax in the summertime and not hustle so much. But I knew that I wanted my content planned. And I wanted to show people, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I am scheduling my summer so that I hustle hard in the spring, and now I get to relax and spend time with my family, with my friends, and hang out in the summertime. That was my intention. I wanted to show up in the summer, like with a little, pina colada, sitting by the pool, things like that. So we did a branding shoot in early summer, maybe even late spring, at a pool. We went to, my friend Christina had an aunt who has an amazing backyard. And we went to the pool and we were like in, cover-ups and drinking drinks and on the laptop and putting headphones in for listening to podcasts. And I used these photos throughout the summer. And it was just so empowering to be able to show up and not just say, hey, I'm enjoying the summer, but like, hey, look at me. I'm listening to a podcast out by the pool, or I'm going with my family to this place, and just having those photos. I was talking to a friend this week and we were saying how empowering it is to have the photos. Of course, you want to have the content ideas. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to give tips about that, et cetera, et cetera. But once you get those photos, oh my gosh, it just puts everything into motion. I have come to points where I have so much good content and I'm like, I just need the photos to push it through. I need the photos so I can send this in an email, so I can make a Pinterest board, so I can blog it, so I can share on social media, so I can have some cover photos for my YouTube. When you get those photos, it's a two-part piece when it comes to marketing online. Having the content, but also having the photos. I cannot say that enough. When you get a gallery back from your branding photographer with all the photos that you did, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I have so much to share. And it empowers you to show up consistently. That is the purpose. That is the point of having branding photos done, is to give you an inventory of images to empower you to show up consistently on brand, very custom, custom to you. I could talk all day about this. So that's number 2. Like I said, set the intention, plan thoroughly. I'm going to read a couple of these comments. Jen says, social media is so much easier with branding photos. Yes. Yes, it is. Let me tell you, when I had the photographer come earlier this week and I put the photos, I edited them myself. Okay. My branding photographer, of course I did. I edited them myself and I put them in Planoly, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, my Instagram is about to be fire. It's about to be fire. I immediately went and updated, my profile photos, my website headshot. I went into my Gmail signature and updated the photo in my Gmail signature. It just puts you in a different mindset of entrepreneurship. It gets you ready to go. Okay, so Allison said, I found that not having the photos held me back from posting at all because I didn't have a picture to go with whatever content I wanted to post. Yes, yes, yes. You can have the best content and be so excited and then be like, man, I don't have any photos to go with this. The photos are the key. They are the key. Okay, so let's see. Jen says changing profile photos boosts a bit on social too. Yes, when you get a new profile photo, people are like, hey, hey, queen. Okay, so tip number 3, assemble your dream team. Okay, so this is your friendly neighborhood branding photographer coming to you, real close. Hire a professional, okay? You don't have to, but if you're going to ask me for advice, I say save yourself the stress, the time. Just know your strengths. If your strength is not photography, hire a professional. Trust me, there are things in my life that I have tried to DIY and failed, okay? I would much rather pay a professional so that I don't have to even think about anything that I'm not a professional in. For example, we're getting a laundry closet redone upstairs, okay? I saw it on TikTok. This is me keeping it real. I saw it on TikTok a couple weeks ago, and this is tiny laundry closet, and the TikTok video showed someone taking out the appliances, taking out the wire racks, and putting up wood shelves, sanding them down, all that stuff. And for half a second, maybe a full second, I thought, we could probably DIY this. And then I thought, one of my friends and clients, Kim, you can actually go and watch me shoot her branding shoot. If you click on, I think, my IGTV, my YouTube, she is a woodworker. She's a carpenter. This is what she does. And I was like, I sent Kim the TikTok, and I was like, can you do this? She's like, yeah. And I was like, send me a quote. Done deal. I want to focus on what I do best. And I know she's going to do a better job, a faster job, and it's going to be beautiful. So this goes for everything. If you want to focus on the bigger projects, the more, as an entrepreneur, the more revenue generating task in your business, and you can outsource something to a professional who can do it better, faster, and just streamline it, and you'll get this beautiful gallery at the end. Outsource it. Hire a branding photographer, okay? If you don't have the budget, there is still hope. Like I said, you can set up your timer. You can ask your children, your spouse, your neighbor. There's always an option to get updated photos. It doesn't have to always be beautiful, curated, professional. If you're at a point in business where you can't fit this in your budget, you don't have to just not have branding photos forever. Just do what you can. Hire who you can, work with who you can. Like I said, you can set it up yourself. But if you are trying to step it up, the title of this presentation, if you're trying to step it up in 2022, hire a professional, okay? That's what I'm going to say. You're going to ask me my advice? Hire a professional, okay? If you can't afford it, find out how you can afford it. Can you book a couple more clients? Can you do something, can you host some calls? I don't know. Figure it out. That's what I have had to do a lot of times in my business, where I'm like, this is a little outside of my budget. And instead of being like, I can't afford this, I'm just not going to do it, I say, how can I afford it? How can I afford it? Do I need to host a bunch of, shoots? Do I need to open up my calendar even more? Do I need to do some more strategy calls? So I think at every point in entrepreneurship, you come to a point where something's a little bit out of your budget. Even if you're making 6, 7, 8 figures, there's always going to be something where you're like, I want this. I think I need this. That's a little out of my budget. How can you afford it? Instead of, I can't afford it, how can you afford it? Okay. That's just me keeping it real. Okay. Those are the 3 tips I have. Just a reminder to step up your branding photos in 2022. 1, get the shoots on your calendar. Just find a month that works for you, that works for when you need the photos. Get it on the calendar. Once you know you're doing branding photos in April, you can work backwards to step 2, set the intention and plan thoroughly. Locations, outfits, props, accessories, all that stuff. Plan all that stuff. If you need ideas on what type of photos to have in your business, you can go to angiemcpherson.com/checklist. It's my checklist that'll give you a ton of examples from headshots, lifestyle photos, workspace photos, all that stuff to help you, come up with ideas for your branding photos. And step number 3 is assemble your dream team. So get your photographer. If you want to get your hair done, get your hairstylist, get your makeup artist. If you have a stylist in your area, if you're really struggling with outfits, you can hire a stylist. There's so many people you can bring into your team to help this shoot be successful and to empower you to show up all the time, consistently, with photos, with content. It will up-level your content. I know you're creating great content right now. This will only make it even better. And yeah, so that's step 3. Also, like I said, check out the checklist, link in bio. I do have a question. Let me see. Ooh. Jen says, can you describe seasonal type photos you should capture? Yes. So like I said, summertime, if you are big and enjoying the summer and want to show that to your audience, you can do something seasonal. You can go to a beach. You can go to a park. If you are big on the winter time and I love shooting branding sessions getting into winter, because people tend to fall back on social in winter, and that's the time to get in there because not that many people are posting. So get your coffee, get your cozy sweaters, go to a little coffee shop. You know, if you have snow, oh my gosh, I would love to do a branding shoot in the snow. There's so many different ways where you can show up each season and show that these are fresh photos. We're in summer, hypothetically speaking, we're in summertime. Here I am in summer clothes, in summer colors, in summer environments. You don't want to be using your cozy scarf and coffee, by your fireplace in August, depending on where you live. You want to have more seasonal photos to show that you are on top of your game and that you're still here, you're still working, you're still, taking care of your clients and showing up. So I love that question, Jen. Okay, so those are my tips. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments, shoot me a DM. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a fun way to kick off the new year. I am showing up live every week. I'm committed to it. And I have a bunch of new branding photos for myself, so stay tuned. Stay tuned for those. Just know as soon as you see a new branding photo that I just took it the other day. So you all have a beautiful day. Oh, I've got another question. I can't let it go. Okay. Do you think you should always be in brand colors in your photo? I love this question. So if you look at my closet, anytime I shop, and it doesn't have to be for a branding shoot, anytime I shop, and that is very rarely, I'm finding clothes that are complementary to my brand so that I can use the photos in a branding shoot. Of course, if I'm buying a top for like a trip or an outing, I'm usually buying it within my complementary branding photos so it can be used, in 2 ways. So I recommend just neutral, if anything. If you have branding colors in your accessories, and if you're shooting at home and you have things all over your house that are in your branding colors, something like this, like a neutral top, is fine. It doesn't, my branding colors are like a blush, mint, gold, but I'm not always in a blush, mint, or gold top. I might have, a blush bracelet. I might have, a blush scarf. I might wear a blush or mint top and then have everything else be neutral. You don't have to look like a walking on brand, checkerboard with every single color. I would just keep it complementary. If you have a very vibrant, brand, if your brand is all like black and white, you can definitely zhuzh that up with a little bit of color if you want. But if the photos are going somewhere, think about where, like I said, we're talking about the intention as well. If these photos are for your website and your website has a certain color palette, try not to wear anything that's going to deter or, be in contrast with your color palette. I'm always thinking about that. Where are these photos going? Am I going to make sure that they are complementary to where they're going? So that comes with planning your intention, planning, what the photos are for. So great question. Okay. You guys have a beautiful rest of the day, and I will see you next week on the next week's Instagram Live. Bye.